Hi, in this video, we're going to have another example using the super keyword. Make sure before you continue with this video, you're done reading about this keyword as well as the inheritance, because you will not be able to understand if you jump right away on watching this video. So I recommend to read first about this keyword as well as the inheritance, because the super keyword in Java comes in rule with the concept of inheritance. So we will recommend you, I recommend you, to read inheritance first, which will provide you an ease to understand the super keyword, okay? Now, going back to the definition of this keyword, when we're talking about this keyword, it refers to the current object in the same manner. However, the super keyword refers to the object of an immediate parent class. It means super keyword uses in subclasses to access the object of the superclass. So we can refer to the variable, constructor, and method of the superclass by using the super keyword. Suppose you have two classes, the subclass and the superclass, by using the super keyword. Now, these classes contain the variable or method with the same name. When we are going to access the variable or method in the subclass, the computer will always use the subclass variables. But there may be a situation when we want to access the variables or method of the superclass. In order to resolve this problem, we use the super keyword. Okay, however, in this video, I'll try to focus on the following. Okay, let me just type in here what are the following that I'll be focusing in this video. Number one, we're going to the super keyword. Keyword can access the variable of the parent class. Number two, can invoke the constructor of the parent class. Number three, can access the method of the parent class. Okay, now the example that I'll be using for this is based on this keyword lecture notes. We will be using that example. Alright, we will start off first. Keyword can access the variable of the parent class. And suppose we're going to use inheritance in our classes. Then in our subclass, we have variables exactly the same as superclass. When we will access the variable in the subclass, the compiler automatically uses the variables of the subclass. And to access the variables of the superclass, we need to use the super keyword. Now, let's try to use the example. Okay, I'm going to use the super class example 1. Okay, now in this, we will create a class called class record. And this example, again, this is based on the example I give in this keyword lecture notes. That's the reason why before you proceed here, you have to read it first so you can relate. Okay, now I'll start off right away here. Class, then the name of my class would be class record, then open close braces. Inside here, I can declare int roll number then I'll be assigning this to 5. I'll be assigning number 5 to variable name roll number, and this data type name would be Jassy, and then class name, okay, I'll just use the BSCS string. This one would be the class name. I'll be assigning this to BSCS. Alright, so from here we're going to create a method. Start first with the public class. Oops, where's my class? Public class. No, I start off with void because we're going to create a method first. The name of the method will be show data, then open close parentheses. This will be our method. So inside this method, it can do the following: display this one, roll number. Okay, I'll be calling now the roll number, which is referring to, where's my mouse? Okay, this one. I'll just copy this and put it here. Okay, then semicolon. After this, I'll copy this again, and I'll be replacing this with name and call the variable name. Okay, next is I'll be printing the class name. So I'll just copy this, so I don't need to retype it, and put here class name. Then here, of course, change the name, variable name, to class name, because we're going to call this value, this one, referring to this. Okay, same here with the name, referring to the name. Where is it? Okay, the Jassy name. And for the roll number, referring to this number. Okay, now where are we? So let me just make this one bigger so you can see it clearly. Okay, let me finish off this one with the show data. Now this time, this is where we're going to add another class. We will extend the record, so we're going to create another class called record. Then this record inherit the class record. Okay, make sure that the class record should be the same. Okay, referring to this one, I'm going to inherit this, whatever the value in here, I'm going to get it. So that's why I have to use the extend. So class record, and inside the curly brace, this is where we're going to put the int, then roll, number, assuming I'm going to have another value 10, and then for the name, I'll be putting here another value. Let me say Jana. Okay, now next string name, let me say this is BSN. Okay, now I'll be printing the data again, so I will create another method called, this will be, okay, class record extend. Okay, class record. So before this one, supposed to be, okay, let me double check my code. BSN extend record, I put it a name. Okay, then below here I can add another method. So I'll put here public void print data. So this will be my method. Okay, inside this, I'm going to add another curly brace. So what does it contain? Let me finish off. This is where I'm going to say system out, print line. Then inside here, I'll be calling the same output. Okay, maybe I can, what happened here? I'll just copy this one. Anyway, so I don't need to retype it again. Okay, roll number, public class. Okay, let me just arrange this. Let me extend this one. Okay, let me just put this on top of this class. Okay, name, did I put the same? Class record extend, then the string, so there should be spacing here. Okay, I'm trying to review my output. Class ring, I think I supposed to finish up this one. Okay, class record. There's another curly brace here. Okay, let me just double check. Okay, class record. Class record, double checking my code before I continue with another one. Let me put some indentation. Then from here there should be now. Okay, I'm going to add spacing from here, and then I can also adjust this here so that it can align on this. This is under the class record class. Okay, now this one is okay. Class record extends, record extends class record. So under this, I have this code. It should be aligned in this curly brace. Then the name. Okay. The string, the class name. Okay, public void. Okay, I supposed to be, this is, oops, where's my tab? Okay, this one should have an alignment. Public static void name. Okay, I think I'm going to, the reason why I need to put the main in here, because if you don't put the main.java, it will not be able to compile it. So I need to finish this one now. Print data. Okay, now let me finish up. Inside our main, we're going to remove this and replace this instead. Okay, I'll put this way. In the class, I'm gonna create a record referring to the record class. Then we will create a new object called record, then new record, open close, then colon. So from here we're going to do the record, then print data. Let me check if I still get an error. Okay, we had a duplicate name in here. There is still a duplication. Now to solve this issue, we will separate all of this. Unless if the Jada, only the Jada can run without this sample, I'll be removing this, the main, but there is still a duplication on the code. But you will get an error for this. You notice? Syntax are expected. Okay, now let me just finish off. I need to return the class. Okay, I need to put back the class, but I need to remove the extra. Since we are using the same file, of course we need to put here 1 1. Okay, put 1. Now I got it. Why I got this wrong? Because this is supposed to be class name. Now I got it. Do we still do an error? Okay, this method contain in a static top middle. Alright, so we still get an error on this one. So what I think is the problem? Okay, let's try to double check. Even if we're going to add another one in here, but we still get an error because of this one, and we cannot compile it in the replay. So when we run this code, we really get an error for this, the extra one. Let's try to read. Okay, main, the 33, line 33. There is an error in the line 33. Okay, so if I'm going to remove this, there is another again error. But if you're going to run this, there will be additional error. Line 32. But of course we cannot remove this. You will try to remove this, then there is an error. So you have to finish off. The only option that we can do for this to run is to separate our record and the class record. Since in repeal it, we cannot do it. We need to have a main class for us to be able to run it. Unlike in the other, like in VS Code or in the Eclipse. Okay, let's just solve this by creating another file. I'm going to put here record.java. Then I'll be transferring the record, this one, do I need, okay, let me, do we still get an error? I think there was the thing that I messed up. Okay, let me remove this one first. Record. Okay, let's try to run this if there's no more error. I think that was the error that I missed to add up. Missing curly brace. There you are. So it means our program is actually running. We had our output, Jana, and so on, printed out. Okay, because we only called out for this output. As you can see in this example, the student record, okay, where's the student record here is superclass, okay, or the class record is the superclass, and the record is the subclass. When we are accessing the variable record class, we can compile on print the variable declared in the same class. So we can create another option let's say in this example, we print the data, we created a new record. That's why we have this output. Okay, so this is basically an example of what we call the child can access the verb, the parent class. So in here, the rule number, the name, the class name tries to access, okay, the parent data. Okay, this part, the parent data, this one tries to call this part, this method. Okay, that's why we get this output. This is again an example of using another example of accessing the variable, the parent class. So let's add another example. This time, we're going to apply, okay, not this one. This time, we're going to use the number 2 can invoke the constructor of the parent class. So, the super keyword in Java is used to invoke the constructor of the parent class. And to know how to use the super keyword in Java, you have to read also the constructor training first before you continue. So you can invoke the constructors of the parent class from the base class. And to invoke the constructor of parent class, the super keyword must be first statement in the constructor of the child class. Otherwise, it will try to throw an error. Now, let's add another example. Let me say we're going to edit this one. Let's see what can I do. Okay, I'll just first the class record. Okay, we will just use this one the same. Then this time we will add, before we're going to start this public show data, we will add more parameters. All right, so maybe I'll just create another one so we can start a fresh start. Okay, this is an example. We call this example invoke. Okay, super class invoke. Okay, this will be our example for this to invoke the constructor. We're going to create again another class record. I'll be doing the same, typing the whole code again just to demonstrate to you for this option number 2 can invoke the super keyword, can invoke the constructor of the parent class. So on top of this main, I'll put here again class record. Then inside the curly brace, I'll just make this one this way so easier to arrange. Declare a roll number as an integer, and the value would be 5. Then string, again name. So this time I'm going to use Jassy based on our keyword example. Then string that class name, and I'll be use BSCS. Okay, now this time we're going to start with the public class record. So we're going to add a parameters in here inside this parentheses. So int, then roll number, then string name refers to the name, then another string refers to the class name. Okay, so we have 3 parameters now. Inside this, we're going to create another curly brace. Inside of this program, we can say system out parent line. Inside this, we call again roll number. Oh, okay, roll number. Then I'll be calling up this one, the roll number, so I can display it. Then semicolon, I'll just copy this part so I don't need to retype it. All I need to do is just change this to name, and this one change to name. Okay, I'll do the same. Okay, let me just adjust this. All right, now copy again. This is for the class name. Okay, let me just finish off this one. Class name. This one, class name. Oops, sorry. Capital N. All right. So now we're going to inherit the class record. So therefore, we will create again another class called record. Then we will inherit class record extends class. Okay, it should be the same. Whatever you have put here, I copy this. Okay, oops. Let me finish it. And inside this, okay, referring to that, we're going to put a curly brace again. Inside this, we will declare another one, int, then example number of record as our new variable, and we will assign to value 10. Then declare another string, and we will include the name of the school name. Let me say the name of the school is Surigao del Sur State University. Okay, semicolon. Now we declare variable for the school and the number of records. Under here, we're going to create a record. So this class method, record method, inside of this, there's something that we need to do. Okay, another curly brace. We've just finished off some super. Then we can add here, example, the student ID 12001. And then, let me say Jassy, comma, and the course BSCS. Okay, semicolon to end the line. Then we can display now system.out.println line. Inside this, we call this one constructor of child class, semicolon to end. Okay, let me make this one bigger. So okay, there you go, it's better. I'll just copy this part so I don't need to keep on typing it, and I'll just add in here number of records. Okay, then I'll be calling up this one, number of records, put it here. Then and a semicolon. Okay, numbers. Oops, forgot the letter N. Copy this one again, so I don't need to retype it. Okay, I need to adjust and replace this with the school name. Okay, school name, and put here school name. I think we're almost done. So after here on this part, we're going to put public. Okay, we don't need to put the public static anymore. Instead, so we had here class record. Let me double check. You had an error. Okay, the reason why, again, we had a separate supposed to be where we're going to remove this. However, in repeal it, you cannot compile a program without the main.java. Since we're just putting it all together in one class, then we have to add class main. Alright, under the class main, instead of this one, I'll remove it. I'll be creating a new object, put record, then new record. Alright, I think, let's see, record, no value at all. Let's try to run this one first. Let's see, to find any error. Then we will get back to check if there are some errors. Still compiling. Okay, there you are. You get the output. Roll number 1201. So it means it calls us the dial. Where is the 1201? This one. Class name, PSCS, constructor of child class. Number of records 10, school names regardless or state university. So our code is running. Again, this is an example of what we call the super keyword can invoke the constructor of the parent class using this method. Okay, try to look up again the code, the one. So from this, instead of displaying all of this, we actually printed only this part. So 1201, then Jassy, but the other details like this one has been added as well into our output. So this is the super trying to invoke the constructor of the parent class. This one is the parent class record, and these are the variables that we are trying to invoke. Okay, now let's proceed to another example. Okay, this time let's see what's the other example. Let me check. To access, okay, and by the way, before I forgot, it's always important when you do your writing your code to arrange this way so that you can easily find the error. Okay, now number 3 example, to access the method of the parent class. So there are different methods on how to do it. Example, let's see if I can use the same. Show data. I think I got this example already. Let me check. Okay, maybe I'll just use the same code I'll just hide the other one, so I don't need to create another file. For this case, I'll just create another class record. So I'll be hiding this part first. Class record, hiding this. Now I'm going to create class record.java. So inside here, this is where I put this code. Okay, up to, I'll just copy this part. And then in here, I'll be adding public void show data method. So I'll be using the show data. Okay, curly brace inside here. I'll just copy the one that I have in here, so I don't need to retype it. Okay, so if we're going to call up this method, show data, it will display the following. Okay, just this one, tab. Okay, this one, show data. So from this example, okay, I think we're going to close this one, the class record. We're done. Next is for the record. So we're going to create a record. I'll be hiding this part. Okay, another asterisk up to this part. Okay, so in the class, extend class, I'll be copying this. Okay, up to this part only. Create another one. This is record class.java. Okay, in this part, I'll put here class record extends class record, referring to this one. So this is our new class. We'll try to inherit the class record class, referring to this one. Okay, it will call up whatever is inside of this class. Okay, now we will finish off with this one, class record. And in here, I'll put public void show data. Then from here, I can add curly brace. Then I think I'll just copy the code. Okay, which part? Okay, number of records. Okay, this one. Okay, I'll just copy this only. I'll be printing. If I'm going to call this method, it will display the following: the number of records, referring to this one, 10, and then the name of school, referring to Surga. Okay, with this one. Now let's try to double check if I get some error. Okay, so I think I need to close my, okay, there you are. We're done with our class record in Java. Now in our main, so in our main, we will use the same, but this time record, I'm going to add another command, record, referring to this one. Okay, then dot show data Okay, referring to the command or the method that we have under the record. So what does it contain in the record? So we had here the show data, therefore this will be performed. Okay, now if we're going to run this code, the result would be, let's try to check the output. I hope there's no error. Okay, the output of this one depends on your internet connection. You had a faster internet connection, then you can get the result right away. But as of the moment, I think my connection is not that good. That's why it's not showing right away the result. So still compiling. Still on compiling. Compiling the record, the class record.java. Okay, almost there. Okay, there you are. So we have here now the output, the number of records, which is 10, school names, regadal source, state university. Okay, that's now the output. As we had seen in the output, the record class, referring to this one, is the child class. This is referring to the what we call child class. Okay, and the child class, what happened here, the child class overriding the parent class method. Now if we're going to use the super keyword and invoke the method of super record class, we can also change our code. Okay, just like that we had earlier. What we need to do, well, just go back into our code. I'll be showing you again what I'm trying to say about this one. If you want to display the roll number, the name of the student, the class name, the number of records, etc., then you have to override the parent. For that, if I want to override it, that's the time that you will apply this method. Okay, I think oops, sorry. No, it's supposed not to add. It means you just put the show data of the record, because what happened here in our main Java, we display the record new, then record data, then in our class record, in the show data, this is where you apply the super. Okay, if you want to add, you just simply add here super in this part, super that show data. Okay, if we're going to apply this, let me clear this one first. The super in our class record, let's try to run. Just wait for the output. What will happen here, it's supposed to display the roll number, name, class name, the number of records, and the school name. We just added the command super that should data. Okay, for this example, let's see the output. Okay, let's move in. Show now the output. This is actually optional. There are so many methods when applying this. All you need to do, you just practice, keep on coding a lot. and explore for you to be able to, oops, the super, why I'm getting an error on this part. Let me review my code. Why I'm getting this error. Which line? Okay, number 8. Cannot find the symbol S. Okay, refers to S. Super. Why is this here? The symbol method show data in the main. Okay, let's try to look up in the main. Record new record. Let me start from the class record. int public void show data. Okay, inside this, in the class record, okay, I'm supposed not to put here this super. Okay, got it. Supposed to be not put in here. Instead, we put it inside the record. All right. Now, where is it? Void show data. This part. Inside the record. That's why I get an error. This time we're trying to override the parent class method. Okay, let's try to run again. Clear, run again. Let's see the output. I hope it will display now the output without any error. But it's okay if we get an error, so we will be able to practice on how to fix some errors in our code and how to solve it. It's just a matter of practicing, coding, reviewing your code, because sometimes we forgot to type. It's really a good practice to, to fix the error. So in this sample code, we are trying to override the parent class method. There you are. We have now our output. So if we're going to hide this, it will only display the number of records and the school name. But since we override with the use of this super show data referring to this one, that's why we get this result, overriding the parent class method with this one, with this command. Okay, so that's it for more example in the use of the superclass keyword. I hope you understand now how it works. So I want you to explore, practice on this one, because again, this will be included in your exam. Okay, so the main class, we created another class and the record class. So we call this record referring to this record. Okay, this record inherits the class record, which is referring to this one. All right. That's all for now. Have a nice day.